praises to the Most High, Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Elohim of the living, Elohim of Israel, Elohim of all that seek righteousness. We are in the second Torah portion in the book of Shemot, commonly called Exodus. The first portion of Shemot was about the call and commission of Moshe. The beginning of bondage of Israel after the dying off of the patriarchs. The told child known as Moshe, who was cast into the river and preserved by the Creator, prophesied by his sister Miriam, who saw the struggle of his people and committed an act of judgment which led him to flee. He fled where?
Midian.
Okay, let's just make it sure. Midian, where he met his father-in-law, which was Jethro. His name is also what? Just Reuel, which means friend of El. Was married and was commissioned back after he met the Creator in what form? The burning bush. Okay. From the burning bush, he met his brother, and they were sent to who?
Pharaoh in Egypt.
Before Pharaoh, who did the Most High send them to? The who? What aspect of the people?
The leaders.
The elders. He sent them to the elders for 3 signs. I ain't gonna ask y'all the signs, I'm gonna bother y'all. He sent them to the elders with 3 songs: the hand in the bosom,
Right.
the water turning to blood,
Yeah.
Right, and left
and
Snake?
what was the first sign? Yes, ma'am. Okay, I could see. The rod turning into a serpent. Yeah. So now we are at the beginning of the plan of the Creator to send Moshe. Moshe has just been, he has just had his first cuss out by the people of Israel at the end of chapter 5. So now things can get interesting. So we are in Shemot, commonly called Exodus, chapter 6. Starting at verse 2. I see y'all writing the notes, so that's told. This Torah portion is, if I had to put a title on it, it would be outside of one era, which is he appeared. It would be harden not your heart.
Yes. Yes.
On the book of Tehillim, y'all can stay in Shemot. I'm going to go to Tehillim, commonly called Psalms. In the book of Psalms 95, I believe it was our forefather David. I get to it. Tehillim, commonly called Psalms 95. Starting at verse 6, and he said, he said, "Come, let us bow down and kneel, bend the knee before Yahuwah our Maker, for he is our Elohim. And we are the people he tends to, the flock in his care. Amen. Oh, if you would but heed his charge this day, and harden not your hearts as at Meribah, as on the day of Massah in the wilderness, when your fathers put me to the test, tried me. Though they had seen my deeds, 40 years I was provoked by their generation. I thought, they are a senseless people that will not know my ways. Concerning them I swore in anger, they shall never come into my resting place. Harden not your hearts as our forefathers." Is everybody at Shemot 6?
Amen.
Okay. Avia, you gonna read? No? Okay. Okay, I'm just playing. Go ahead, David.
That the sons of Elohim, the daughters, saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
Adam, we are in the book of Shemot, commonly called Exodus.
Exodus.
like Genesis. That must be your study for the past 2 weeks.
And Elohim spoke to Moshe and said unto him, I am Yahweh, and I appeared to El Abraham, and unto El Yitzchak, and unto El Yaakov, by El Shaddai, but by my name Yahweh was I not known to them.
Okay, sweetheart. So he said, I was known by the name of El Shaddai, but by
Yes.
my name of Yahuwah, I was not known to them. So El Shaddai, El is power. Shaddai means what? Almighty, King. Y'all don't be scared. But Shaddad, which is the root of that word, means to be violent. It means to deal violently with, to ruin or destroy. So that paints a different picture of the Elohim that was what our forefathers doesn't. Not, El Almighty, you think of white clouds and wonderful skies. No, he is the El that destroys. Okay, so by my name Yahuwah was known to them. And then go ahead and read verse 4 through 8. You can go, okay, God, I got you. I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land in which they lived as sojourners. I have now heard the moaning of the Israelites. I have now heard the groaning of the Israelites because of the Egyptians are holding them in bondage. And I have remembered my covenant. Say therefore to the Israelite people, I am Yahuwah. I will free you from the labors of the Egyptians and deliver you from their bondage. I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and through extraordinary chastisements. And I will take you to be my people, and I will be your Elohim. And you shall know that I, Yahuwah, am Elohim, who freed you from the labors of the Egyptians. I will bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov. And I will give it to you for a heritage. I, Yahuwah. Okay. So this is the beginning. This is the this is like introducing yourself to your lady, Let them know, look. So Eve, how was it when you and sis first started? How did that happen?
Yeah.
What did you tell her when y'all first met?
When we first met.
Uh-huh.
When we first
Okay,
met.
all right. Maybe not when you first met, because that could be a little dangerous. When you first let her know that y'all were going to be together.
Oh, when we were first going to be together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when we first officially met, I don't know exactly what I said. I let her know that I found her, and then we got to know each other rather quickly. And we were like, hey, I know how you roll, I know how I roll.
Okay, so that's
We're on
what
the
we're
same
gonna do.
page, belief-wise, and everything. So,
Hallelujah.
Is that how it was? Is that how it was?
we met in the store, and she tried to give me someone else's number for me. That later, what I told her to take mine. So,
Oh.
there we go.
Okay, this is similar to that. This is the most I give in gifts right on his number. This is what I'm gonna do. You're gonna know exactly who I am.
Yeah.
I know who you with right now. Don't worry about him. I'm gonna put him to the side. I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna bring you to my house. I'm gonna make sure you fed. I'm gonna change your clothes. And you're gonna be my Isha, and I'm gonna be your Ish.
Yeah.
Because y'all do know that we are married to the Creator. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was making sure that y'all understand who y'all dealing with. He, in the words of my Isha, he is a priest. The Most High is a creep. He is one that is very jealous about his woman, and that is going to be known throughout these pages. So he said, I will redeem you with an outstretched arm. I will bring you out, and I will give it to you for a possession. So, question. What is the inheritance of Yisrael?
Canaan? No.
Hmm?
Who's it?
Yes.
Well,
Canaan?
Okay. Yeah, Canaan. I'm just waiting. That don't mean you're wrong. I'm just waiting. He said Canaan, land of flowing milk and honey. He said he is Canaan, or we are his inheritance. He chose us. Okay. Is that it?
Kings and rulers.
Huh?
Kings, high priests, rulers.
You said the king, high priest, and rule?
To become kings, high priests, and
To
rulers.
become kings, high priests, and rules. Okay. To become a people above all people. Okay, okay.
And like the tree of life.
Rights to the tree. That is not an inheritance of us. And we have the directions in order to get there.
Yeah.
But we don't inherit that by being Israel, if you get what I'm saying. Okay. What else is it? So we have the land. We have the promises. What else do we inherit as Israel?
Yahusha.
Eternal life.
No, you don't inherit eternal life by being Israel. Say that.
Freedom.
Freedom? That's a yes and no, Imam.
Okay.
I would say yes, because you inherit freedom through the Creator, but if you disobey, then what do you do?
Yes.
It's bondage.
Right.
So, I'm gonna stop messing with y'all. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 33. Dallarine, commonly called Deuteronomy. Oh, Dallarine chapter 33. Deuteronomy chapter 33. That'll be the fifth book in your Bibles. Chapter 33 and verse 4. 33, chapter 33, colon 4.
Praise God.
I'm just gonna mess it back up. You good? Okay. No, no problem. 33 and 4, and it says, go ahead, y'all.
Moshe commanded us in Torah, even the inheritance of the descendants of Yaakov.
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
Moshe commanded us in Torah, even the inheritance of the descendant of Yaakov.
Oh, okay, so you have the land. Huh?
The Torah.
Okay, that is your inheritance.
Torah.
So when it says, I did this wrong, but when we go to Jeremiah 17 and 4, because you have some discussions with people and they say, well, nobody told you was going to forget your name and the law and all of this. When you go to Jeremiah 17 and 4, it says, Yirmiah, commonly called Jeremiah. You have a King James Bible around?
I can pull it. Yeah, I can pull it up.
I can pull up my phone. I just don't like this JPS version.
You probably like the bush in the desert. Oh, let's see.
Can you repeat it again, please? 'Cause
Deuteronomy.
Jeremiah.
Oh, I did. Y'all see, yeah.
17:4.
Thank you, Imam. She said Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. Thank you, Edward Jesus. You know, maybe I'm not speaking loud enough.
You speaking too fast. My ears are slow up here.
Jeremiah 17 and 4 says, and you, even yourself, shall discontinue from your heritage that I gave you, and I will cause you to serve your enemies in the land which you know not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger which shall burn forever. So when it says that you will be discontinued from your heritage, that's not just getting kicked out your land. You will lose your land, you will lose your language, you will lose your laws, you will lose your customs, you will lose everything that the Creator gave you, because you came out of Mitzrayim pretty much literally naked. Well, you didn't come out literally naked, but you came out naked. He clothed you, he fed you, he washed you, he gave you rules, he gave you language, he gave you everything that you would need in order to go into the land and be a people. All of that he has taken away. Now we're getting it back slowly but surely. So what did we get first when we came out of Egypt? The Torah or the land?
Torah.
Oh, okay, so what do we need now in order to go back into the land?
Torah.
Okay, so you can't go back into the land without this part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go back to Shemot, commonly called Exodus. And could you read verse 9 for me, Adon? That's Shemot, commonly called Exodus, chapter 6, verse 9.
Hold on.
Yeah, no problem.
And Moshe spoke so unto the children of Yasharel, but they hearkened not unto Moshe for anguish of the Ruach, and for cruel bondage. And Yahweh spoke unto
Hold
Moshe.
on. Verse 9, could you read that a little bit louder? I think I might be.
And Moshe spoke so unto the children of Yasharel, but they hearkened not unto Moshe for anguish of the Ruach,
For anguish of the Ruach and what?
and for cruel bondage.
Okay, so verse 9 it says, anguish of the Ruach. So when you look up that word, it's H7115. I'm going to get to those in a second, so I can't erase those. H7115, which is kotzer, which is shortness, impatience, or anguish. Now the root of that, it means to be short, it means to be impatient. It also means to harvest. So, it said that they could not hear because they were impatient and because of the bondage. Now, I guess a quick question would be, have y'all ever done that?
Yeah.
Has somebody given you a promise, but because of your current situation, you can't hear it?
Yeah.
So you really can't believe somebody said, look, there's better for you. It's okay. All you got to do is endure. Redemption is coming, but you can't hear it because of your current situation, so you won't allow that to register in your heart.
Yeah.
You're hardening your heart based on your conditions, which are temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
This translation also says broken spirit.
It's a broken spirit. It's something that can't hold on to something.
Yeah.
So like, in a sense, it's like having spiritual asthma.
Yeah.
What? I just y'all are some silly people. You can't really endure it all. You don't really see too many people with asthma in the long distance races. They don't really do cross country with asthma because you can't take it. You're impatient.
Okay.
You see what you're supposed to be going after, but because you can't get there because of what your condition is. So they couldn't hear the promises. I'm gonna take you out. You gonna have milk and honey. I'm gonna clothe you. You gonna have grapes as big as your head. You gonna have all of this stuff, but you can't hear it because you got to make bricks.
Yeah.
Right into 2019, you can't hear that you're gonna have a day off. The Most High is gonna take care of you. You're gonna own your own business because you got to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work.
Okay.
So you're not trying to hear what the promise is because of what you are in now. Okay. Now, why would the shortness of breath, what does that have to do with harvest?
You don't have the strength to reap the harvest, to help pull it in with power to bring it in. Shortness of breath, that means you can't really go forth. You see it, like you said, but you can't really put forth all the effort because you run out of breath before you can really pull all the harvest. You won't be able to finish it.
Anybody else? You always, I'm just asking. What does shortness of breath or being impatient have to do with reaping or harvest?
Harvest.
Yes?
Your
Okay.
impatience really dictates whether you'll have a harvest or not.
To see he can endure once he gets to the wilderness, to where he's gonna start separating the sheep from the goats.
Endurance, being able to.
Ask the question again.
What does being impatient or shortness of breath, well, it means to be short. So what does impatience really have to do with reaping or your harvest? Because it's the
You
same
have to
word.
wait. You have to learn to wait.
If your seed don't come up immediately, I guess, you have to wait, like she said.
Yeah, you do have to wait, but the word impatient means to reap. So I'm just asking y'all, 'cause I don't know. Yes?
That means that you abandon what you have to do before it's the time is.
So that's like the prodigal son, who wanted his inheritance now, and he went and wasted it with women and everything else. So he ended up reaping what he sowed, because he sowed everything that his father had worked for. But he ended up coming to senses to himself and saying, why to have a service that made I do. So he ended up coming back to his realization and coming back to his knees, Father, I want.
Yeah, okay, and everybody's answer is correct. Really, I guess, to turn it into a question, is your impatience messing up your heart?
Yes.
Yes. You're not allowing things to manifest, which we're gonna talk about right in a bit later. But okay. So shortness of breath, they could not hear. Okay, let's go back to verse 10 through 13.
And Yahweh spoke unto Moshe, saying, go and speak unto Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, that he let the children of Yashua go out of his land. And Moshe spoke before Yahweh, saying, behold, the children of Yashua have not hearkened unto me. How then shall Pharaoh hear me? Horn of uncircumcised lips. And Yahweh spoke unto El Moshe and unto El Aaron, and gave them a charge unto the children of Yashua and unto Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, to bring the children of Yashua out of the land of Mitzrayim.
Okay. So it's a situation where the children of Israel won't listen, Pharaoh won't listen. So they're like, why do I need to talk to Pharaoh if even the children of Israel won't listen?
Yeah.
And the Most High's response was giving them a charge to do so. So what does that say to you?
It says, just do what I say, do and trust me.
Okay. It's not about the people's response. I guess that's kind of another theme in this is the people are going to be the people. The people you're around, you don't have to be a leader to deal with people and their emotions. You don't have to be, you can be on your job and people's emotions. Now either you can get caught up in their emotions or you can do your job. You can have your children and they wild out and they crazy. You can either focus on their emotions or you can do your job as a parent. You can focus on your ish or your isha and they wilding out, so on and so forth, but you have a charge to be a husband or a wife. Your charge is your charge regardless of the outside chatter. What you've been charged to do is what you are to do. Okay. Verse 14.
These be the heads of the fathers' houses, the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Yashael, Hanach and Palu, Shashban and Kalmah. These be the families of Reuben, and the sons of Shimon, Yemuel, and Yamin, and Ohad, and Yakin, and Sokah, and Shoal, the son of a Canaanite woman. These are the families of Shimon. And these are the names of the sons of Levi according to their generations: Gershon and Ohad, and Merari. And the years of the life of Levi were 137 years. The sons of Gershon, Libnah, and Shema, according to their families, and the sons of Ohad, Amram, and Itchah, and Sharon, and Uzziel. And the years of the life of Ohad were 133 years. And the sons of Merari, Machlah, and Mushah. These are the families of Levi according to their generations. And Amram took him Jochebed, his father's sister, to be his woman, and she bore him Aaron and Moshe. And the years of the life of Amram were 137 years. And the sons of Yitshah, Orah, and Nepheg, and Zikri, and the sons of Azazel, and Mishael, and Elizaphan, and Sifra, and Aaron took him Elisheba, daughter of Amminadab, sister of Nachshon, to be his woman. And she bore him Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ethamah. And the sons of Orah, Esau, and Elkanah, and Abiasaph. These are the families of the Oka, and Eleazar, Aaron's son, took him one of the daughters of Pethuel to be his woman. She bore him Pineham. These are the heads of the fathers of the Levium, according to their families. These are that Aaron and Moshe to whom Yahweh said, bring out the children of Yashael from the land of Mitzrayim, according to their armies. These are they which spoke to Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, to bring out the children of Yashael from Mitzrayim. These are that Moshe and Aaron. And it came to pass on that day, when Yahweh spoke to Moshe in the land of Mitzrayim, that Yahweh spoke unto Moshe, saying, I am Yahweh. Speak you unto Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, all that I say unto you. And Moshe said before Yahweh, behold, I am uncircumcised lips, and how shall Pharaoh hearken unto me? And Yahweh said unto Moshe, see, I have made you an Elohim to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. You shall speak all that I command you, and Aaron your brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Yashael out of his name. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my sons and my wonders in the land of Mitzrayim.
Okay, so, alright, so you're gonna see the word, you're gonna see the word harden many, many times in this Torah portion. The English says harden, there are 3 different words for it. So you're gonna see kasha, as y'all can read, which means to make difficult, stubborn, or stiff. So this is number 1. This is the first thing that occurs to a person. It is made to be difficult. They are made to be stubborn or made to be stiff in a certain area. Then the second one is kazak, which means strength. To strengthen. So whatever is kasha in you, it can be kazak, depending on how you deal with it in your life. For example, you go through a situation with, let's say, a Gentile, right? You go through a Gentile.
Yeah.
That makes you think that all Gentiles are a certain way. Oh, they all racist, man. He fired me for no reason, even though he was late 10 times in a row. They fired me for no reason, right? Then you run into another Gentile, and something else happens. Now your heart is kazak. What you thought was one time, now by 2 matters is the fact established. So 1 happened, and then 2 happened, now you're strengthened. And then it continues to happen, and then the kabed, your heart gets heavy, or your mentality in that situation gets heavy, and then nothing can change it until it's broken or destroyed. So you're going to see 3 different words in the Hebrew, in which I'll point out which one is used. But you're going to see different times where Pharaoh does it, and you're going to see times where it says the Most High does it. So, question, it says that, and I will harden his heart. So is that fair that the Most High is going to harden his heart in order to destroy Mitzrayim? Okay, sleep out. A Moreh a couple years ago told me there's a difference between being fair and being righteous. So we know everything that the Most High does is righteous. Okay, it's righteous. Now I'm asking you as people, is it fair? How is it fair?
It's not fair.
Okay, that's a real answer. I'll get to you in a second. E, I see your face. I'm just don't.
I know. I've talked with people about this same issue where it comes to as far as like free will and predestined and everything
Right.
like that. I think he initially, like you said, God said he was going to harden Pharaoh's heart, but I don't know if it was him every single time that after a certain point that he give him a chance to ultimately make the decision for himself based on seeing what keeps happening. Because a couple times he changed his mind, asked Moses, hey, I'll let you go if you go and pray to your God to stop it, and then it stopped and he changed his mind. And then after a couple times, it seems like then maybe that's a learned behavior and he got used to it. And he hardened his own heart because he got used to it. Like if I just keep acting like I'm going to let you go on my behalf, and then when it comes back and it's all good, I'm just going to go back to what it was.
The only thing that you can manifest is what is already inside of you. So if somebody's trying to get you angry and then you never get angry, that's because anger is just not angry. You ever see somebody who just never gets angry? Like they calm, or, you know, maybe they'll breathe a little hard and then they just go right back to normal. They just let it out.
Yes.
It's just not in them. But then you have somebody who, something that happens that's very, very minor and they just blow up.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they shooting up a school.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know it, but it elevates very quickly, right?
Yes.
It just goes from 0 to 60. That's because it was already in them. It was just dormant.
That's right.
Came up.
You know what they say about preachers' children or something like that. Sorry, Jessica. But you know they say about you know, PKs and stuff like that, right? When they get off and they go to college and they just wild out.
Right.
That's because it was already in them. They just had chains on them.
Yeah.
So when they were free, now it, oh yeah, what you know? When they're free, all of a sudden they just go wild. They just go wild, right? Okay, because it's already in you. So did the Most High harden his heart?
He used what was in him.
Love.
Brought up what was in him.
Chain of love.
How?
He gave him situations which he knew he would respond to by hardening his heart.
Huh? But wouldn't that be tempting him for evil?
Love.
No, because he's righteous.
A faith that isn't tested isn't true.
Oh, we read that. I'm gonna write that down. Just text it to me later. Text it to me later. Okay, there are tests. The difference between being tempted and being tested. If I give you an option, am I tempting you? The Most High said, I'm gonna say the Most High said, one of the writers of the New Testament said, let no man say that he is tempted by Elohim.
Right.
Because in every situation, he does what? He does what? Okay, he gives you a way out. So you can't say that he made me do this. I am predestined to be evil. No, you're evil because you had a choice and you chose.
You
So we go back to Pharaoh and it says, I will harden his heart. No, I just know if you think you're big and bad and I tell you let something go, I already know how you're going to react to it.
Right. That's right.
If I took, yes ma'am.
But my question is, with all the signs and wonders that came after it, most people wouldn't have, their hearts wouldn't have been changed, or they would have at least been scared into it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
But his
have to-
heart was already hardened.
I'm gonna have to humbly disagree with you,
Okay.
and I'm gonna bring it to 2019 and show you why I disagree. So we read the story. You got signs and wonders. You got snakes turning from rods and water turning into blood and all this crazy stuff, right? But what if you're some person? What if you're somebody who, for some reason, you can't stop stealing, right? You can't stop stealing. It's in you. It's dormant. You haven't stolen in a while, but it's in you. So if somebody puts something in front of you and you steal once, and then you get a fine, and then you get off of court, and then you go back, and then all of a sudden you steal again, and then this time you're charged heavier, but you get a lawyer, and they make the sentence go a little bit lower, so you don't go to jail. And then you go again, and then something happens, and you get 30 days or whatever, but you know some people in there, so it's not that bad. You get back out. You see how somebody can, if you put it in your life, you can go through situations where it would seem to be a wake-up call, but you never wake up.
Right.
You continually,
Sleep no more.
you are continuously in a sleep. I was going to say something, but anyway, whatever. Some people deal with the same type of mate continuously.
Yeah.
For example, before I came into this way, long time ago. Long time. I used to deal with a certain type of woman. She'll be very, very short skirtish, very, loud, long hair, stuff like that. And then that relationship would go bad. And I'd be like, I'll never do that again. And then, ooh, just a dark skinned version of that. And then that happens. Then, okay, I'll never do that again. And then, ooh, taller version of that. It's the same pattern, and then every time the heartbreak gets harder and harder and harder because you're not waking up to the signs.
Right.
Like, it's not really how they look, it's an internal thing.
Right.
But because you didn't look at the internal, in yourself based on why do I attract that?
Yeah,
Say it right.
Or why am I attracted to that?
Say it
Right.
right.
That's what Pharaoh was going through.
Yeah.
It's a sense of I have power. You're not gonna tell me to let these people go. I don't even know who you are.
right.
Wow.
So you do your little signs, and we're gonna read it, but you ask the question. You do a sign, and my homegirl, you tell me that I need to be single, right? So, but you have a boyfriend. You tell me I need to be single, but you have a boyfriend. So something happens in my life, and then something happens in your life, and it makes me calm down. You're like, yeah, I do need to dump him. But then something happens, and all that goes away. Because your homegirl be like, no, you good man. Look, mine did the same thing. You relax, girl, relax. It's somebody cools down what you should be doing. Somebody calms down your response to what you should do. The Most High just turned water to blood. But the magicians can do the same thing.
Yes.
So your entourage makes you be like, well, they can do it. Who are you?
Yeah.
So we're going to read it because y'all just making me read all my notes off at the beginning. So we're just going to read it. We're just going to read it. Let's go to chapter 7. And we're going to go ahead to verse 8. We're going to go to verse 8.
And Yahweh was spoken to El Moshe and to El Aaron, saying, The Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, Show a miracle for you. Then you shall say unto El Aaron, Take your rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. And Moshe and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and did they so as Yahweh had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh, and before his servants, and it became a serpent. The Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers. Now the magicians of Mitzrayim, they also did in like manner with their enchantments. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods.
Okay, so like, hold on. So it said enchantments. Enchantments is H3858. It's only used 2 times. It's used here, and it's used at the Garden of Eden. Not with the serpent. When they got kicked out, what did the Most High put?
Cheryls.
He put cherubims for what?
Fire.
A flaming sword. That's the word that's used here for enchantments. It's a word that means to cover or to conceal. So it's what the Most High did in the garden was He made it so that you couldn't see the garden or the entrance to the garden anymore. What the magicians did was they did their spell to make it where you can't see the rod, you think it's a snake.
Yeah.
So
They did an illusion.
yes, like Black Panther. I know y'all seen Black Panther when they riding on the airplane and everything look like this green pastures, and then they just fly through this little bubble, and all of a sudden you see Jerusalem. I mean Wakanda. Okay, same thing that went on. So it said, so it said that they used their enchantments to do so. But then what happened to their rods?
Got eaten up.
Oh, but they didn't recognize that part. Pharaoh didn't see that part. The fake can only last so long around the real.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's going to get swallowed up, and you're not going to see it no more.
Right.
Right into 2020, somebody who's not really about this walk, they won't last very long. You'll see them at some Shabbats, you'll see them at some feast days, they'll say shalom or something like that, but eventually it's going to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle, and those who are really about the walk, you're going to see them to continue to endure. And those who aren't, you're going to look on their Facebook and all of a sudden they're back in the club with that dress, and I'm like, ooh, but I'm a new person, I can't say ooh no. But I would have said ooh, but that's not important. It's not important. I love my life. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be good. Anyway, we're going to go back to verse 13. Verse 13 says what?
He hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Hardened. That's Kazakh. Kazakh. It was strengthened. Keep going, Pete.
That he hearkened not unto them, as Yahweh had said. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Pharaoh's heart is hardened. He refuses to let the people go. Get
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right, this translation says stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the heart that you were talking about, that he would not allow his heart to be changed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Somebody shows you a different way, you're like, no, I'm good.
okay.
Get you unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goes out into the water. And you shall stand by the river's brink against he come. And the rod which was turned to a serpent shall you take in your hand. And you shall say unto him, Yahweh Allah of the Abraham has sent me unto you, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hitherto you will not hear. Thus says Yahweh, in this you shall know that I am Yahweh. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned into blood. And the land, fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Mitzrayim shall loathe to drink of the water of the river. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying unto Aaron, take your rod and stretch out your hand upon the waters of Mitzrayim, upon their streams, upon the rivers, and upon the ponds, and upon their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Mitzrayim, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. And Moshe and Aaron did so, as Yahweh commanded. And he lifted up the rod, and smote the waters that were in the river, in the sight of Pharaoh, and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And the fish that was in the river died, and the river stank, and Mitzrayim could not drink of the water of the river. And there was blood throughout all the land of Mitzrayim. And the magicians of Mitzrayim did so with their enchantments. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Neither did he hearken unto them, as Yahuwah had said. And Pharaoh turned and went into his house. Neither did he set his heart to this also.
So that was Kazakh again.
And all the Mitzrayim dug around the river for water to drink, for they could not drink of the waters of the river. And 7 days were fulfilled. After that, Yahuwah had smitten the river. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, going to Pharaoh, saying to him, thus says Yahuwah, let my people go, that they may serve me. And if you refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all your borders with frogs. And the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into your house and into your bedchamber, and upon your bed, into the house of your servants, and upon your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading troughs. And the frogs shall come up both on you, and upon your people, and upon all your servants.
Okay, so look at, I want to, what I should have said in the beginning, I want everybody to, when they read, let my people go,
Yeah.
that is the way out, right? Okay. So in your own life, what is it that the Creator is asking you to let go? So you can look back probably over the last year, and you know that there's something that happens, and then it always causes a response or an effect in your life. Is it anger? That every time you get angry, now you're angry at your job, now you get fired. You're angry at your brother or your sister, now you haven't spoken in about 5 months. Or your laziness. Your laziness, let the laziness go, so then you can actually build what the Creator is asking you to build. But every time there is a job for you to do, you procrastinate and then you miss it, and then something else happens. Or there's a bill that you said you were going to open, but you never opened it, and now the lights off. I've done that like 3 times last year. I ain't gonna do it again, I promise. The lights is on, the lights is on. But what I'm saying is that there are things in your life that everybody has that the Most High is saying, let it go. And then you don't listen, and He does something. Let it go. Then you don't do something, He does something again. And it gets worse and worse and worse, but you're not listening.
Yeah.
That's right.
Maybe it's because somebody always helped you out.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So every time the Most High is putting the pressure on you to let it go, when you're about to let it go, somebody releases the pressure that's not the Most High. So then you don't think about it again until the next situation occurs.
Yeah.
And then somebody has to release the pressure again. That's not the Most High.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we're going to read in a little bit where the magicians could no longer imitate what the Creator was doing.
That's right.
Yeah.
But by that time, it's too late because you've been helped so much that now you don't know how to just let it go, really. Now you're already there.
That's right.
For all those who love hip hop, Slick Rick said, me and you, son, we gonna make some cash. Robin O folks said making a dash. They did the job, the money came with ease, but one couldn't stop. It's like he had a disease.
Yeah.
Another, and this is one couldn't stop. It was like, we good, we're gonna do this together. And then I chill, but you got the disease because your heart is now stuck on that. You can't stop.
Right.
And at the end of the story, what occurred?
He got killed.
He got killed by the police.
Yeah.
One job, which you got away with, set it off. We can look at set it off too. Every time they did the job, they got off, and then they kept continue to go, and then everybody died except for Jada Pinkett because she knew how to run.
That's right, that's right. And she got money too.
And she kept
And
the
she
money.
got the money.
Now, that may not happen in real life. That's that stuff. Y'all not supposed to say that part. Don't say the good part. That make people think no.
It's not.
Everybody died. Everybody died. But no, seriously, that's what occurs. So when we say let my people go, whatever's in your heart that you know the Creator is asking you to let go, think about why you have to let it go. And how many times are you going to have to get played before the end result is destruction?
Yeah.
My.
Yeah.
Say so.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, some people just read Let My People Go, and it's a nice song.
Yeah.
Let My People, yeah, cool. But you still holding on to 3 or 4 things that the Most High is trying to take from you.
Listen.
Okay, go ahead, keep on, keep.
Then Pharaoh called for Moshe and Aaron and said, entreat El Yahweh that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may do sacrifice unto Yahweh. And Moshe said to Pharaoh, glory over me, when shall I entreat for you, and for your servants and for your people, to destroy the frogs from you and your houses, that they may remain in the river only. And he said, tomorrow. For he said, be it according to your work, that you may know that there is none like unto Yahweh Elohim. And the frogs shall depart from you, and from your houses, and from your servants, and from your people, that they should remain in the river only. Moshe and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moshe cried unto El Yahweh, because of the frogs which he had brought against Pharaoh. And Yahweh did according to the work of Moshe, and the frogs died of the houses of the villages and of the fields. And they gathered them together upon heaps, and the land stank. But when Pharaoh saw that there was respite, he hardened his heart, and hearkened not unto them as Yahweh had said. And Yahweh
Hold
said,
on, please. When he saw that there was relief, when he saw that there was the ability to breathe, then he hardened his heart, which was, which one y'all think it was?
Abad.
Cain.
Ichabod.
Cain. Now is unresponsive. When he said, I will turn you over to your reprobate mind, and now it's a wrap after that.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is play 3. So seven, it's still 7 plays to go, but at this point, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep.
And Yahweh said to El Moshe, say unto El Aaron, stretch out your rod, and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice through all the land of Israel. And they did so, for Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod, and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast, and all the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Israel. And the magicians did so with enchantments, to bring forth lice, but they could not. So there were lice upon man and upon beast. Then the magician said to Pharaoh, this is the finger of Elohim. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them, as Yahweh has said.
Okay. So now your friends can't help you, but it's already done. Your heart is dull, and now it's just getting heavier. So kabed, as it says, is heavy. This is the same word that's used where it says, honor your mother and your father. That word honor is kabed. So you are to put weight on them. It's the same, it's the same thing. It's just in this form, it means to be dull or unresponsive,
Mhm.
because it's heavy. You know, like when somebody really heavy sit on you and all of a sudden you can't feel your back and stuff like that, it's heavy. It's heavy. Yes. We're in chapter 8.
Where is it? Where is it?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the last set of scriptures that we just read?
Read chapters 8,
Okay.
Exodus 6.
we're down at verse
19. So we're in,
Yeah.
Shemot, commonly called, like you said you're not the only person that's lost?
Okay.
Not because I got squirrel disease. We are in the book of Shemot, commonly called Exodus, chapter 8, verse 19, and some scriptures, I believe verse 17 and others.
Right.
But we're on the part, if you're reading, where it says that the magician said this is the finger of the Most High.
Right.
Okay, hallelujah.
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 Okay. Proceed. Let me proceed.
Then the magician said to Pharaoh, this is the finger of Elohim. And Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he hearkened not unto them, as Yahweh said. And Yahweh said to Moshe, rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he comes forth through the water, and said unto them, thus says Yahweh, let my people go, that they be served. Else, if you will not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon you, and upon your servants, and upon your people, and into your houses, and the houses of the Mishraim shall be full. Swarms of flies, and also the ground wherein they are. And I was subverting that the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarm of flies shall be there to the end. You may know that I am Yahweh in the midst of the earth. And I will put a division between my people and your people tomorrow shall be this shall be. And Yahweh did so, and there came a grievous swarm of flies into the house of Pharaoh, and to his servants' houses, and to all the land of Israel. The land was corrupted, the reason of the swarm of flies. And Pharaoh called for Moshe and for Aaron, and said, go ye sacrifice to your Elohim in the land. And Moshe said, it is not meet so to do, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Mishraim to Yahweh Elohim. Lo, shall we sacrifice the abomination of the Mishraim before their eyes, and will they not stone us? We will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to Yahweh Elohim, as he shall command us. And Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that ye may sacrifice to Yahweh Elohim. In the wilderness, only ye shall not go very far away, entreat from it.
Okay, so a couple things. One, where it says that I will sever between my people and your people. I will make them set apart. I will separate between us and them. That word, there's a scripture in Tehillim where it says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. That wonderfully made means it's the same word here. So you are fearfully made and you are set apart. So you were made to fear and to be set apart. That's Tehillim 139:14. Also, he said, I will make a division, and I believe up front, up top. He said, I will make a division between Goshen and here. That word is not division, it's actually a word for redemption. So this is the beginning of the redemption process. So up until now, all the plagues were felt in Goshen as well as in the land of Egypt. This is where he stops dealing with Goshen. So Goshen is now set apart. Keep on, keep.
And Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that you may sacrifice to Yahweh Elohim in the wilderness, and ye shall not go far, very far away, entreat from me. And Moshe said, behold, I go out from you, and I will entreat El Yahweh, that the swarms of flies may depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people tomorrow. But let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully anymore, and not letting the people go to sacrifice to Yahweh. And Moshe went out from Pharaoh, and he treated Yahuwah. And Yahuwah did according to the word of Moshe, and he removed the swarm of flies from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. There remained not one. And Pharaoh hardened his heart. At this time also, neither would he let the people go. Then Yahuwah said to El Moshe, go in unto Pharaoh and tell him, thus says Yahuwah Elohim.
Chapter 9, right?
Yeah. Of the Iberim, let my people go, that they may serve me.
Okay, hold on, pause right there. So what is the job of us, once we leave Babylon, what are we to do?
Serve me.
Okay. So we're not just going to go be free and do whatever we want to do?
Still gonna serve.
Okay. We're still going to have a master, it's just going to be a righteous one.
Right,
Okay. So it's still rules to follow?
right.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah. But if you refuse to let them go, and will hold them still, behold, the hand of Yahweh is upon the cattle which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, and upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous pestilence, and Yahweh shall sever between the cattle of Yashruel and the cattle of Mishraim. And there shall nothing die of all that is in the children's of Yashruel. And Yahweh appointed a set time, saying, tomorrow Yahweh shall do this thing in the land. And Yahweh did that thing in the morrow. And all the cattle of Mishraim died, but of the cattle of the children of Yashruel died not one. And Pharaoh said, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of Yashruel dead, and the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let Pharaoh go. And Yahweh said unto El Moshe and to El Aaron, take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moshe sprinkle it toward the heavens, in the sight of Pharaoh, and it shall become small dust in all the land of Mishraim, and shall be a boil breaking forth which with flames upon men, and upon beasts through all the land of Mishraim. And they took ashes of the furnace, and stood before Pharaoh, and Moshe sprinkled it up toward the heavens, and it became a boil breaking forth with flames upon man and upon beasts. The magicians could not stand before Moshe because of the boils. For the boil was upon the magicians, and upon all the Mitzrayim. And Yahuwah hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hardened not unto them, as Yahuwah had spoken unto El Moshe.
Okay, so you see how your actions affect everybody else around you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's right.
It went from the magicians being your friend, the people you can count on, and they, imitating stuff and stuff like that. But you continue in your foolishness so much that now you're affecting them.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
To where it's no longer, I can't even stand beside you no more, really, because I got my issues now that I got to go deal with
Yeah.
based on you,
Yeah.
because you won't let certain things go. But until you let them go, then I'm going to be affected.
Yeah.
And you're not going to listen to me as I'm telling you that this is an issue. So you just going to keep going.
And Yahuwah said unto El Moshe, rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and say unto him, thus says Yahuwah Elohim of the Iberim, let my people go, that they may serve me. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon your heart and upon your servants, upon your people, that you may know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite your people with pestilence, and you should be cut off from the earth. And in very deed, for this cause have I raised you up. Wow. For the showing you my power, that they, and that my name may be declared through all the earth. As yet exalt you yourself against my people, that you will not let them go. Behold, tomorrow.
So the Most High will put you around people that He knows that by their actions, they're going to eventually exalt you.
Yeah.
Because they can't take care of what they're supposed to do. That's going to come to a point where then you become exalted from them. So it's like when I was at TCC, we had elections for this organization, president, vice president. I was vice president, but the president couldn't gain the respect of the people. So he wound up quitting. And then I was raised a president. But I didn't want to be president, which is why I ran for vice president. But the Most High will put you around people where he knows that, okay, eventually I'm gonna take him out. So if I put you here, then when I take him out, then you'll be there.
Mhm.
Okay,
Um,
17.
It's different.
As you as yet exalt you yourself against my people, that you will not let them go. Behold, tomorrow or this time I will cause it to rain. A very grievous hail, such as has not been Mitzrayim since the foundation thereof, even until now. Send therefore now and gather your cattle, and all that you have in the field. For upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field, and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them, and they shall die. He that feared the word of Yahweh among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flew into the houses.
You see how merciful the Creator is?
Yes, sir.
It's like, I'm still punishing everybody. I'm gonna give you a chance. For those who listening, I know this dude ain't gonna listen, but for everybody else who listening, look, go in the house.
Yep.
And for everybody who has an ear, it was like, look, tell them to get in the house real quick.
Mhm.
Yes, Pharaoh. But all those who fear the Creator, they will hear.
That's right.
Kind of keep on.
And he that regarded not the word of Yahweh left his servants and his cattle in the field. And Yahweh said unto El Moshe, stretch forth your hand toward the heavens, that there may be held in all the land of Mitzrayim, upon man and upon beast, and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe stretched forth his rod toward the heavens, and Yahweh sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along upon the ground. Yahweh rained hail upon the land of Mitzrayim. So there was hail, the fire mingled with the hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Mitzrayim since it became a nation. And the hail smote throughout the land of Mitzrayim. All that was in the field, both men and beasts. And the hail smote every herb of the field and broke every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Yahshua were,
That's right.
was there no hail.
Mm.
And Pharaoh sent and called for Moshe and Aaron and said unto them, I have sinned this time. Jehovah is righteous. Okay? And I and my people are wicked. Wow. Entreat Yahweh, for it is enough that there be no more mighty thunderings and hail. And I will let you go, and ye shall stay no longer.
Okay, hold on real quick. Okay. He said, I have sinned, I have missed the mark this time, that who is righteous and I and my people are wicked. So he prayed. He said, let there be no more thunderings, right? So that word for thunder is the voice.
Ooh.
It's cold. So
Wow.
it's not really thunder, because there is another word for thunder, which I forgot to bring it up for y'all. But this word here is the voice. This is the same voice that was on the mount when we were receiving the commandment.
Yes.
So he said, look, pray. I don't want to hear the voice no more. I don't want to hear it. So it's like, I don't want to hear the correction no more. Stop telling me what I shouldn't do. Now it's a situation where you don't want to hear nothing that
Yes.
has to do with getting you on board.
Yes.
This is what he's telling them to stop. Because Most High said, I'm just going to send hail. I'm sending hail, so I'm sending discipline, but I'm talking to you on how to get out of this discipline. You don't want to hear that part. You just want everything to stop. You don't want nothing. You don't want discipline, nothing. You just, okay. Enough of Elohim's voice. Okay.
And Moshe said unto him, as soon as I am gone out of the city, I will spread abroad my hands into Yahweh, and the thunder shall cease, neither shall there be any more hail, that you may know how that the earth is yours. But as for you and your servants, I know that ye will not yet fear Yahweh Elohim. And the flax and the barley were smitten, and the barley was in the earth, was in the air, and the flax was born. But the wheat and the rye were not smitten, for they were not grown up. And Moshe went out.
Hey, hold on. You read kind of fast. As for thee and your servants, I know you will not yet fear Elohim. So even though you're crying and you're praying and you're doing all this, I know that you're only doing this to get out of the situation.
Yeah.
But the Most High is merciful enough at times to still take you out of the situation, even though He knows that you're not going to change.
Mhm.
Because I got 2 more plagues for you anyway, so it don't even matter. I'll let you out of this one, but I'm still going to continue to hit you because I know
Yeah.
you're not going to change.
Yeah.
And it's going to get worse and worse until I no longer can tap you. Now I'm going to destroy you.
Yes. Woo.
We're getting closer and closer to the destruction.
Yes.
You talk to your child so many times before it's just, okay. I didn't put you in timeout. I didn't pluck. I didn't try to pinch. Now, it's just...
Yeah.
Time for the belt.
Yeah. Now it's the belt. And for my sons, I can't wait. I'm going to put you in the chest. At 2 years old, as soon as you can breathe good. As soon as you can breathe good. Yes, they're going to have asthma, spiritual asthma. I'm going to give them spiritual asthma.
Punch in the chest is real.
It works. It works. Yes, now.
Tell them. As soon as she gives birth, she'll be like, oh, you might want to watch that family. I heard him say a long time ago he was going to punch.
Yes, sir. Come on, son. Here we go.
Absolutely. But no, there's only so many times the Most High is going to tap you before He
That's
just
right.
throws you out. So it says, I'm going to spread my hand. I know you don't fear him. It said, the flax and the barley was smitten, but the barley was in the ear and the flax was boiled. What month did we come out, Ms. Ryan? Okay. This, so when it says the barley was in the ear, the barley was Abib.
Say that
So-
for the people. What month that was.
Oh, Abib. Abib. So this will be the first of months for you. And Shemot
ABIB.
12, ABIB. ABIB. So when it's talking about the barley, so now we have people who say that the barley has to be in the ear in order for us to proclaim a new year, which is absolutely right. It has to be in the season. Because you see here that the barley was already in the ear.
Right.
But the barley was already Abib. So you have to be in that season before you can proclaim a new year.
Mhm.
Not that it has to, at the first Abib, then it's a new year. No, you have to be in that season. So we'll talk more about the calendar and stuff next week, but that's just letting you know that that's why it's called Abib. For one, the season that it's in, and two, to be Abib means to be tender or to be ready.
Right.
It's right now. So my question will be, what would the state of barley have to do with Yisrael, and why would it be called Abib? Or do you think that those things have a correlation?
Yeah, they have
Okay, so what's the correlation?
Yeah.
Oh.
The people coming out of Egypt
Uh-huh.
is a type of harvest.
Okay, so we were Abib at that point.
Yeah.
So we were Abib. So it doesn't necessarily, which is something, that we can talk about that later, because I'm gonna get into my own conjecture about the calendar, and it being in the season, and nothing having to do with barley. But anyway, yes, it was Abib, the wheat, which is a summer grain, so that's why it comes a month after Abib. So wheat is after, so you have to have barley for you to have Pesach, because you have to have the unleavened bread.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be in that season in order for you to be able to proclaim it. Okay, we almost died.
And Pharaoh saw that the rain in the hill and the thunders would cease. He sent yet more. Wow.
Hmm.
And hardened his heart, he and his servant. And the heart of Pharaoh was hard. Neither would he let the children of Joshua go. As Yahuwah had spoken by Moshe.
Okay, so after the rain and the hail and all that stopped, he not only sinned, he increased his sin.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's like the Most High lets you out of a situation, and instead of fixing it, you just do more. You pass out in the club and Todayah, somebody took you home, but the next day you go back in the club and you drinking 2 times as much as you dropped the first time. I'm sorry, I know I got a lot of club references, but look, I'm still being
They
delivered.
know. Everybody knows.
We just don't like to admit that we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because I want some of y'all Facebook pages don't act funny. I'll bring up some posts. Anyway, yes, but it's the Most High puts you, he takes you out and you go right back in. He takes you out of a crazy relationship, you go right back
Right
in.
back in it.
Because you haven't dealt with your internal. When you deal with what you have to let go internally, things externally will change.
That's right.
Because they have to. Because you have changed.
That's right.
Wow.
So when you let go, then the Most High lets go of the blessings. But I can't bless you if you're still holding on to something else. It's a meme on Facebook or something like that where the dad is telling him to let go of the little teddy bear and he got a big one behind him. Yeah, it's just like that. Just let go. And I'll give you something bigger. You know?
That's right.
Okay, take the Jesus juice. Anyway, I'm just trying to listen to see if y'all listening. Anyway, regardless, what I'm saying is the Most High is waiting on you to let go of what you're letting go of so you can be the Abid in this season. We are in the second Exodus period.
Yes.
So you could be in Goshen right now, right? Everybody here, you say you're Hebrew and all that, you just happen to live in Goshen, right? So you're safe because you live in Goshen. But as we get closer to the time of release, then it's going to be you and your ability to obey personally.
Right.
That depends on whether or not you will make it out.
Yeah.
Because right now you're just in Goshen.
Yeah. Safe place.
You're in a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually you got to put the blood on your door.
There you go.
Nobody's going to do it for you. You got to do it yourself.
Right.
And you got to stay in the house.
That's right. And you gotta eat up, man.
Okay. So there's going to be directions for everybody in order to get out.
Mm-hmm.
No club that night.
No, we can't go out that night. But we got a house party. He never said nothing about a house party. He just said, don't go out. So we
Yeah.
got to get everything before sunset. Okay, but seriously, hallelujah. That's the end of the Torah portion. Next week we'll be talking about the original Pesach, the month of Abib, and we will be talking about what that means as far as today. But as far as whatever, and he appeared, harden not your heart to the instructions for this period. But we are in a very, very time-sensitive time.
Amen. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So for the number of plagues, I've always had this question, because I must be doing something wrong. But, so then the first plague was
The water turning to blood.
the water turning blood.
Mhm.
The second plague was the frogs.
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
Huh?
Okay, the third plague,
Was it mice?
lice. Fourth plague, the flies.
Flies. And then you have the dust of the ground turning into lice.
Okay, what about the plague on the horses and donkeys and all them?
The death.
Livestock, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And then, the dust of the land, that's 6.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, I see where I messed up.
And then you have
Then
7.
the,
You have 7, which is the boil. No.
then the hailstone.
The boils and then the hail.
Yeah, the boils,
The
and
boils
then
and then the hail. So
Right.
we have went through 7 plagues, if I'm not mistaken, so far.
right.
E, you have some information on the plagues, I think?
Oh, yeah, I found like cross references between the plagues in Egypt before the Exodus and their cross references with Revelation and some of the plagues that will be going through there. You just want me to give like some references?
So, what he said for those on Zoom, is there are cross references between the plagues of Mitzrayim or Egypt and the plagues of Revelation. Go ahead.
Oh, so, when it comes to the water and blood, it's referenced 3 separate times in Revelation, 16, verse 3 through 6, 8, and 11:6. When it comes to water being turned to blood,
Right.
and then frogs, it has the same thing, 16, Revelation chapter 16, verses 13 through 14, when it, makes mention of frogs. In Revelations, it's more so like it mentions the spirit as the unclean spirit, like the frog.
Uh-huh.
Then the lice and the gnats, that was one of 2 that weren't specifically mentioned. Flies, there wasn't a direct mention, but in verse 6 through, chapter 6 and verse 8 mentions, I believe, the pestilence.
Mm-hmm.
Then the death of the cattle is mentioned in Revelation 6, verse 8 as well. The boils and the blains was Revelation 16:2, and hailfire is Revelation 16:21, 8 and 7, and is also mentioned in prophecy of Ezekiel 38, 20 through 23, Psalm 11:6, Isaiah 16:16, Jeremiah 25:31, Ezekiel 5:17, and Psalm 11:6.
Amen.
I'm gonna ask Lee to write some of those down on the board a little bit later, if you can, when we leave. After we wrap up. Okay, so as you see, we will not only be leaving out, in the great Exodus, but the plagues are also the same. And we will have one who will lead us out.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so truly the, second Exodus. Does anybody have any other questions, comments, or concerns in regards to the Torah portion? Yeah, any other questions, period?
Just thanks for the preaching.
Well, thank you for your attention. Torah.
Hallelujah.